Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by Patreon supporter Pedro. Huge thanks to Pedro and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Pedro reached out asking for a Spellslinger deck led by Gandalf the Grey, and I was more than happy to assist. If you're enjoying my content, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and if you like the deck list, consider sharing this video as well. Gandalf the Grey is a 5-mana 3/4 legendary avatar wizard. Whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we choose one ability from the following list that hasn't been chosen. We may tap or untap target permanent, have Gandalf deal 3 damage to each opponent, copy an instant or sorcery spell we control and choose new targets for the copy if we want, or put Gandalf on top of our library. Pedro asked that I run as many cards from Lord of the Rings as possible, and I did so. But I wanted to make sure this deck was different from the one I posted last year, so I decided to go with a Flicker sub-theme. After all, wizards are meant to be subtle. Before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is always innovating, and recently they've unveiled their new Druidic Secrets boulders. Turn your deck box into a mystical place. These gorgeous boulders come in a variety of colors and patterns, like this orange-colored one, with a curious arcane summoning circle emblazoned on the front. Protect yourself from extraplanar entities and your cards with the new Druidic Secrets boulder. Pick up one from your local game store or order one on Amazon. Link down below. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. One last announcement before we get into our video. In addition to streaming on Twitch, I'll be dual streaming on a new YouTube channel as well. Check out Gaming with Danon if you want to catch me live. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, Arid Mesa, Steam Vents, Training Center, Stormcarved Coast, Sulphur Falls, Thundering Falls, Volatile Fjord, Molten Tributary, Frostboil Snarl, Ancient Tomb, Boseiju Who Shelters All, Is It Boilerworks, Rivendell, Riptide Laboratory, Myriad Landscape, Scavenger Grounds, 6 Islands, and 6 mountains make up our land base. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Mind Stone, Peregrine Drake, Thought Vessel, Wayfarer's Bauble, Worn Power Stone, Talisman of Creativity, Izzet Signet, Thrawn Dynamo, Solemn Simulacrum, Stormkiln Artist, and Goblin Electromancer help us to ramp out and stay ahead of the curve. The One Ring, Fires of Mount Doom, Factor Fiction, Seagate Restoration, Plea for Power, Archmage Emeritus, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Archaeomancer, Underworld Breach, Rhystic Study, and Jeska's Will help us to dig through our deck, but since we're a Spellslinger deck, we've also got a cantrip package consisting of Birthday Escape, Born Upon a Wind, Council's Deliberation, Consider, Faithless Looting, Opt, Preordain, Thrill of Possibility, Brainstorm, Demand Answers, and Frantic Search. Breaking of the Fellowship, Flame of Anor, Gandalf's Sanction, Hithlane Knots, Arcane Denial, Prismari Command, Learn from the Past, Mystic Confluence, Pact of Negation, Swan Song, Abrade, Lightning Bolt, Insult Injury, Counterspell, and Negate help us to keep our opponents in line. Blasphemous Act, Call Forth the Tempest, and Mists of Lorien help us to reset the board as needed. Glamdring, Fiery Inscription, Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, Meneldor, Swift Savior, Display of Power, Harmonic Prodigy, Sorceress Squall, Displacer Kitten, Thousand Year Storm, Swarm Intelligence, Veyron, Voice of Duality, Thassa, Deep Dwelling, Ghostly Flicker, Essence Flux, and Displace help us to close out games and keep our commander constantly dealing damage. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 48 mana sources split between 32 lands, 1 MDFC, and 15 pieces of ramp. A little light, but we also have 11 pieces of card advantage plus 11 more cantrips. Remember, you can swap 1 land for 2 cantrips, but cantrips don't belong in every deck. 15 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds, 1 Sudden I Win card in Displacer Kitten. Our commander only lets us trigger each ability 1 time, but each time we flicker our commander, that count resets. So we can cast Brainstorm, putting Displacer Kitten's trigger and Gandalf's trigger on the stack. Gandalf resolves, dealing 3 damage to each opponent, then Displacer Kitten flickers Gandalf. Repeat until all of our opponents are dead. Of course, that's not the only way to win. We also have the lovely combo of Archaeomancer, Peregrine Drake, and Ghostly Flicker. Allow me to explain the combo. We cast Ghostly Flicker, targeting Peregrine Drake and Archaeomancer. We flicker both. Peregrine Drake untaps 5 lands for us, and Archaeomancer returns Ghostly Flicker to our hand. We tap our 5 lands and recast Ghostly Flicker. This brings us infinite mana, as well as infinite cast triggers, allowing us to trigger Gandalf a bunch of times. Or we could just generate infinite mana and win the game with a giant crackle with power. Do you have a Gandalf the Grey deck? What path did you take? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. For only $25, you too can have a commander video built at your request. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Borgie, Nazwin, Pedro, Tom, Cole, Midge, Detroff, Rally, Frank, Alex, Julio, Michael, Valeri, Apricot, Slowpoke, and Conga. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.